I think this breaking up of that Baltimore defense will put a lot of pressure on the Baltimore offense and Lamar Jackson. This is very fascinating to see. And look, I think Suggs is long in the tooth, and maybe it does make sense to move on from him. Weddle, been around a while, but 4 guys off a defense that was number 1 in the league. I think that culture in Baltimore, this is the last. When Suggs leaves, that's the last of the Ray Lewis era. This team's going to need a lot more from Lamar Jackson than they got last season.
And I think they're going to get it. This is a team that responded to Lamar in his rookie campaign. They won 6 of the last 7. Reports are he's already working on his game, and he's working on it down in Florida and really trying to work on his pocket presence and throwing the ball from the pocket. This is an offensive league. I understand defense wins championships, but last year the top 4 teams were the top 4 scoring offenses. So if he can fix his issues in the pocket, this will correct and make a larger leap than trying to go out there with the number 1 defense. Because guess what? Who was the number 2 defense last year? Trivia. Buffalo. How did that work out? You know why? Because they ain't have nothing on offense clicking. So you got to look at this league as for what it is. It may change. It may shift back to the yesteryear. But right now, it is an offensive league. And if your quarterback can go out there and become a true dual threat, and you don't know what he's going to do, run or pass the ball, and pass it efficiently, oh, you're going to have problems. Baltimore is smart for doubling down on him.
So for me, he's a quarterback. It's always going to be pressure number 1. And with Baltimore, it's like this. When they lose defensive players, they've earned the respect and the cachet that they know what they're doing. 15 of the last 19 years, they've been top 10 in defense. That's a long time. Baltimore plays defense. It doesn't matter who they got on defensive side of the ball, they going to get it done. That's period. It just doesn't matter. That's the reputation they've built. For Lamar Jackson he averaged 159 passing yards a game. He's going to have to get that closer to 200, if not over 200 per game for them to be more effective, for them to kind of, if you look at the playoff game, the Chargers just literally said, we're going to make you throw the ball. We don't think you can do it. And he couldn't do it. He's going to have to fix that. He's young. He should fix it. He's working on it. He should get better, and I expect him to.
I like the move. I think, you see the league is changing, and, you see the Ravens not overpaying to keep players around. I mean, what you saw C.J. Mosley get paid is an unbelievable amount of money for an inside linebacker. You saw the Ravens saying, we're not going to overpay people. We've got guys in the wings that we drafted that we like. We're going to let them play. And then maybe free agency isn't over yet. They can invest in some offensive free agents that will help Lamar Jackson.
My issue is Suggs and Weddle and just their leadership presence. When I think of Baltimore and that defense, I think of a culture that was set by Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs, that now all of that is gone. And again, to me, and look, Ray Lewis is an all-time great. Ed Reed, obviously, it was. I was going to say it wasn't all talent, it was culture, but damn, these dudes.
They all time.
You want to keep going some more names?
Yeah, they all time.
Yeah.
But
Haloti Nadas.
I do believe the culture there matters.
Yeah.
And it's now all gone. That accountability they had, that pride they had on defense, it's all gone. And now Baltimore's going to flip a switch with a second-year quarterback and a bunch of tight ends they've signed. Willie Snead's their best receiver. Ball State guy, love him to death. He's not an outside receiver. He's a slot receiver. Where are the pieces to help Lamar Jackson on the offensive side? The defense, to me, is definitely going to take a step back.
Well, you got to understand about culture. It's dependent on players when you're building it. But once it's built, it's supposed to be independent of the players and interchangeable. Like, look at the New England Patriots and their culture. No matter who comes in, the culture is the umbrella. The culture is the climate. As soon as you walk in, you're mesmerized. You're seduced by this culture. So, I mean, they've had Ray Lewis. Once Ray Lewis left, it almost seems like there's a climate there. There's an enforcer there. And maybe it's a different name. Maybe it's a different jersey number. But it's still going to be in presence because that's just what the Ravens do.
But you look at it this way. He has pressure on him. But if they are able to sign Le'Veon Bell, which they're in the running to, that will alleviate and take some pressure off of him, make things a little easier for him in the passing game, because now you get single high safety, you're stopping the run. Guys just got to win on the outside.
I know you're a slot receiver. They got to have someone on the outside. No?
No. With a young quarterback, The easiest throw for him is inside the numbers. You got tight ends, you got slot receivers, you got running back. That's easy. You can have somebody on the outside that has a good enough quickness that can get over the top. That's overrated. When you have a guy outside, how often does he affect the game? You can take him out of the game. You put a safety over it, you take him out of the game. You can't take a guy in the middle of the field. You can't take him out of the game. It's hard to take a tight end out of the game. It's hard to take a slot receiver out of the game. We can affect the game so much. 3rd and 6, first down, keep the drive going. 3rd and 8, first down, keep the drive. You can take an outside receiver out of the game very easily.
I'd rather stick with Gus Edwards, young running back, rookie contract scale, than spend all that money towards Le'Veon. Like you said, there are missing pieces on defense, at least in terms of name and quality, in terms of being enforcers of the culture. I would rather spend that around than go get Le'Veon. Like Edwards did, that running game was number 1 with Edwards and Lamar Jackson. Not the most effective model going forward. We need more passing efficiency from Lamar Jackson, but I would kind of spread that money around more than Le'Veon.